Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity of New Westminster's annual Remembrance Day service. Please join us for our opening song this morning, Turn, Turn, Turn. Welcome back. My name is Reverend Rona Segara, and it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of our Unity New Westminster spiritual community to our annual Remembrance Day service. Whether you are watching live on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube Live, or you are catching our service after, as so many people do, welcome. It is wonderful that we are able to connect in this way at this time. The Unity movement offers spiritual principles for full and abundant living. We draw on the teachings of Jesus as our primary way shower and example. And we honor that there is wisdom in faith traditions all over the planet. We honor every person's right to choose their own spiritual path. All are welcome here. All are worthy here. All are celebrated here. We begin our service today in a time of grounding and affirmative prayer. And so I invite you to close your eyes with me if that is comfortable for you. And just hear these words. We are so grateful that we are speaking to you on the traditional territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation. We are so grateful that we can come together across the airwaves, across the miles, speaking to each other, country to country, home to home. It is a strong reminder that we are all connected, that we need not be in one another's physical presence to be aware of our oneness. We believe there is only one presence, one power. That presence, that power, that creative energy that some call God and is known by so many names, connects us. It is in this presence, in this power, in this energy that we live, we move, we have our being. And it is in that one energy that we feel our heart connection with each other. And it is from that heart connection that we send a blessing for peace, for prosperity, for joy and abundant living to all beings in this amazingly beautiful planet. We bless and love each and every person. And we give thanks for the power to do so. That power to love, to express our generosity, is the power that can change the world. And we are so, so grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Two little boys had two little toys. Each had a wooden horse. Gaily they played each summer's day, warriors both, of course. One little chap then had a mishap, broke off his horse's head. Wept for his toy, then cried with joy as his young playmate said, "Do you think I would leave you crying when there's room on my horse for two? Climb up here, Jack, and don't be crying. I can go just as fast with two. When we grow up, we'll both be soldiers, and our horses will not be toys. And I wonder if we'll remember when we were two little boys." Long years passed, war came so fast, bravely they marched away. Cannon roared loud, and in the mad crowd, wounded and dying lay. Up goes a shout, a horse dashes out, out from the ranks so blue. gallops away to where Joe lay. Then came a voice he knew. Did you think I would leave you dying when there's room on my horse for two? Climb up here, Joe will soon be flying. I can go just as fast with two. Did you say, Joe, I'm all a tremble? Perhaps it's the battle's noise, but I think it's that I remember when we were two little boys. Did you think I would leave you dying? There's room on my horse for two. I'm up here, Joe will soon be flying back to the ranks so blue. Can you feel, Joe, I'm all a tremble? Perhaps it's the battle's noise, but I think it's that I remember when we were two little boys.
You are invited to join us on Mondays at 11 o'clock for our weekly prayer service. It is a time where we get together on Zoom and we connect with each other. We share how we are doing with each other. We move into a time of guided prayer. And we read the names of the people who are on our prayer list. And it is a time of renewal, of connection. It is a profound experience of recentering. And so I invite you to join us for that. And if you would like your name, or you know someone who you would like to have added to that prayer list, then please email us at unityofnewwestminster@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to have the person's name or your name added to our list. Mondays at 11. I know it's hard to believe, but Christmas is just around the corner, and that means it is time for our annual Purdy's chocolate fundraiser. Every year we have an opportunity to purchase chocolates from Purdy's, and then the church receives a percentage of the sales. If you are interested in ordering this year, please go to our website to find the link, or call or email the number on your screen. The deadline to order and pay is November 29th. Thank you to Cindy Noble for heading up this initiative this year, as she does every year. Cindy, we are so grateful for you. You are a blessing to our community. You are invited to join us for a study of the book, The Eye of the Storm, Embracing Conflict, Creating Peace, written by Reverend Gary Simmons. The book study will be held on Zoom on Tuesdays for 8 weeks, beginning Tuesday, October the 12th and ending November 30th. The time will be from 7:30 until 9 o'clock in the evening. All are welcome and participation is free. Donations are always gratefully accepted. The book is available at bookstores, online at retailers such as Amazon, or in e-reader format. So please plan to join us Tuesdays beginning October the 12th at 7:30 for 8 weeks as we study and discuss The Eye of the Storm, Embracing Conflict, Creating Peace by Gary Simmons. near the end of today's service, we will sing our blessing song, our gratitude for all that we are blessed with. And I just want to remind you and thank you in advance for all of the financial support that we continue to receive in our ministry. There are many ways to give, and we are so grateful for all that we receive. Your contributions help to support not just our ministry, but the Ministry of Unity in Canada and local organizations that do some amazing, amazing work. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. There'll be love and laughter and peace ever after tomorrow, when the world is free. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see. The shepherd will tend his sheep, the valley will bloom again, and Jimmy will go to sleep in his own little room again. There'll be bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover tomorrow. Just you wait and see.
On May the 2nd, 1915, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, a poet, a doctor, and a soldier, had to bury a friend of his in the fields in Ypres, Belgium. As he buried his friend, he noted that between the graves, the poppies resiliently grew. And he wrote this poem the following day. In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row that mark our place. And in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. we are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If you break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. 102 years ago this Wednesday, on November the 11th, 1918, on the 11th day of the 11th month, at the 11th hour, the Great War known as World War I ended in an armistice agreement which was signed earlier that day in a railroad car. A year later, the first Remembrance Day service was held in 1919. And this Wednesday, we celebrate Remembrance Day, also known as Veterans Day, also known as Armistice Day, across the world, as a way to honor those who have given their lives, those who have given their sacrifice in the name of peace. Canadians here in this country pause to honor all who serve. 2.3 million Canadians have served in various forms of Army, Navy, United Nations peacekeeping forces. And of those, more than 118,000 Canadians have died. The reason we have Remembrance Day is to remind ourselves of the pain of war. World War I was the war that was supposed to be so horrific that everyone would see how futile and painful it was, and how it does not, in the end, serve anyone. It was to be the war that would end all wars. And we know that that was not so. My father was a child in World War II. He was born in 1929, grew up in England. And he was separated as a young boy from his family, from his brothers and sisters and his parents. When the children in the cities were evacuated and moved to places in the countryside where there would be less risk for them. So my father was sent to Wales. And at the age of 11 or 12, he missed his mother so much that he would run home. He would escape. And after the third or fourth attempt, they finally gave in and allowed him to return to the city. He tells tales of living through the war, of being in those Anderson shelters and hearing the bombs going off and the noise and the anxiety. He tells of his mother in a panic one day because the sirens were going, being at the top of the stairs, and he was at the bottom of the stairs, and she saying, "Here, catch," and throwing her infant daughter, son, I don't even know, but one of his brothers and sisters to him to make sure that the baby was safe. He told stories about the gas masks that came in a suitcase. And of course, suitcases and young boys don't mean gas masks, they mean a place to hide treasures. And so he told stories about those treasures. And it reminded me of the story that our own beloved Hilda Cliff often told about the gas masks themselves and how they could be made to make those farting noises that little boys seem to find so eternally funny, and that little girls say are gross but also secretly find quite funny. He spoke of being young and adventurous and climbing the piles of debris. My uncle tells the story of he and my dad climbing on a low-rise apartment building one day and waving at a German bomber that was near, like so near they felt that they could touch the plane. And this man, this pilot, on his way to the city, waving back. My mom heard a story quite recently on CBC radio about a German bomber who was on his way to the city to drop his bombs and saw two boys waving. And he waved back. And then he turned around and dropped his bombs in a place that would do no harm. We will never know if those two stories are actually two sides of the same story. But isn't that a wonderful thing to imagine? In the age of 14, my father joined the Merchant Marine and effectively left home permanently. The war profoundly formed and informed how he saw the world and how he conducted his life. And there was never any hesitation with him about the wisdom of England's joining the war. He was one of the most peace-loving people I knew. And how do we reconcile that? How do we reconcile our love and need and desire for peace with the abhorrence of war and the need and desire to stand up to the bully? How do we reconcile standing up for values when those values seem to be in conflict with each other? I think the answer is complicated. And what I know is I am against war. And I am so grateful for those who were willing to put their lives at risk for me so that I can stand here talking to you today in freedom, without fear of retribution. Who knows what might have happened if someone hadn't said, enough, we need to stop this. So I am not here today to glorify war. And what I've come to realize, though, more and more as I grow older, is that peace is not passivity. It does not mean allowing behavior that is unacceptable, that is unjust, that is harmful to others. It does not mean allowing people to run roughshod over those who are are not able to advocate for themselves. Peace is an action. And sometimes, maybe often, it means having the courage to stand and do the right thing despite the danger and despite the fear. Peace includes taking a stand and saying, "Stop," to the bully. The German theologian and Lutheran pastor Martin Niemöller initially joined the Nazi Party, as did many, many people in Germany. He became an opposition voice to their regime, however. And between the years of 1938 and 1945, he was incarcerated at Dachau and at Sachsenhausen concentration camp. He narrowly escaped execution. And these are the words that are on the Holocaust Memorial in Boston, Massachusetts. He wrote, "First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak out because I was a Protestant. Then they came for me, and that by that time there was no one left to speak out for me." Remembrance Day for me is a two-pronged message. The first is to take a stand for peace. To take a stand for those who aren't able to take a stand for themselves. To make the world a more kinder, more loving place. And to be intentional about that desire. To know that there will be fear and there will be resistance, and to do it anyway. To follow Jesus' guidance, which we call the golden rule, which is to do unto others as we would have done to us. And I would say one step further, to do for others what we wish would be done for us. And if you have ever been in the place of being desperate or helpless or powerless, you would understand the longing for someone to come and do something for you that you are not able to do for yourself. Unity's statement of peace reads, "Let each of us stand for peace in the presence of conflict. Let us stand for love in the presence of hatred. Let us stand for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Let us honor the many names of God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. Let us urge all nations, all leaders, and all people to turn to God by whatever their name for God, and pursue peace, not war. For this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. Let us stand for peace in our lifetime." So for me, Remembrance Day, part 1, is to take a stand for peace even though sometimes it means stepping up and stepping out of our comfort zone in order to protect those who cannot protect themselves. And then the second part of Remembrance Day is in the word itself. And there is a powerful song that was written by Eric Bogle and made famous by the Pogues about a soldier from Australia who was shipped out to a place in Turkey in 1915. The song is a little long, but it is powerful in the words, in the mood, and in the loneliness of the futility of war. Here now, the band played Waltzing Matilda.
Now when I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life on the rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, well, I waltzed my Matilda all over. Then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time you stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay. And amidst all the cheers, the flag waving and tears, we sailed off for Gallipoli. And how well I remember that terrible day, how our blood stained the sand and the water, and of how in that hell that they called Suvla Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Johnny Turkey was waiting, he primed himself well, he showered us with bullets and he rained us with shell, and in 5 minutes flat he'd blown us all to hell. Nearly blew us right back to Australia. But the band played Waltzing Matilda when we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours and the Turks buried theirs. Then we started all over again. And those that were left, well, we tried to survive in that mad world of blood, death and fire. And for 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, though around me the corpses piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell knocked me arse overhead, and when I woke up in me hospital bed and saw what it had done, well, I wished I was dead. Never knew there was worse things than dying. For I'll go no more waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and free, to hum tents and pegs a man needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. So they gathered the crippled, the wounded, the maimed, and they shipped us back home to Australia. The legless, the armless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Suvla. And as our ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where me legs used to be, and thank Christ there was nobody waiting for me. To grieve, to mourn, and to pity. But the band played waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. But nobody cheered, they just stood and stared. Then they turned all their faces away. And so now, every April, I sit on me porch and I watch the parade pass before me. And I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reviving old dreams of past glories. And the old men march slowly, all bones stiff and sore. They're tired old heroes from a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. But the band plays waltzing Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But as year follows year, more old men disappear. Someday no one will march there at all. Waltzing Matilda, waltzing Matilda, oh, come a-waltzing Matilda with me. And their ghosts may be heard as they march by that billabong. Oh, come a-waltzing Matilda with me.
Good morning, shoppers. At 11 o'clock on this 11th day of November, we'd like to invite you to share with us 2 minutes of silence in honor of our veterans.
They fought and some died for their homeland. They fought and some died, now it's our land. Look at his little child, there's no fear in her eyes. Could he not show respect for other dads who have died? Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. God forgive me for wanting to strike him. Give me strength so as not to be like him. My heart pounds in my breast, fingers pressed to my lips, my throat wants to bawl out, my tongue barely resists, but 2 minutes I will bide. It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. Read the letters and poems of the heroes at home. They have casualties, battles, and fears of their own. There's a price to be paid if you go, if you stay. Freedom's fought for and won in numerous ways. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls all over. May we never forget our young become vets at the end of the line. It's a pittance of time. It takes courage to fight in your own war. It takes courage to fight someone else's war. Our peacekeepers tell of their own living hell. They bring hope to foreign lands that hate mongers can't kill. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who go over. In peacetime our best, still gone battle dressed, and lay their lives on the line. It's a pittance of time. In peace may they rest, lest we forget why they died. Take a pittance of time.
This Remembrance Day, let us remember that at our core we all want peace, love, and joy. That people on all sides of every conflict died. People who were sons, brothers, daughters, mothers, children. Let us remember the words of a young woman named Anne Frank, who was killed at the age of 14 for the crime of being Jewish. She wrote, "I keep my ideals because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." Let us be inspired by Anne's optimism when she wrote, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world." Peace begins with us, with you, with me, with every action and interaction that we have with another. Let us not let the deaths of fallen soldiers and the emotional wounds of veterans and their families be wasted. Let us remember the principles they died for, so that their sacrifices are not in vain. We owe our soldiers, our peacekeepers, their families, a debt of gratitude. We honor their sacrifice, those who fell and those who survived. Let us always remember to give thanks and honor those who were willing to put their lives on the line for us. Those who are today still willing to put their lives on the line for us. This Remembrance Day, let's remember these words that are spoken at Remembrance Day services across the world. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. I invite you, wherever you are right now, to stand as we hear the last post. Spend a time of appreciation and honoring in silence, and then hear reveille. Please stand. And so we come to the end of our service today. I invite you to join us on Zoom after the service for a time of connection and chatting with each other. I want to say thank you to Alexandra, to Jerry, to Walt, to Aaron, who are all working in the background, making sure that the technology is smooth and able to be shared with everybody. And most of all, I want to say thank you to you for joining us. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful week and a happy Remembrance Day. Blessings to you all.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, family all we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. Wherever you are, God is. We are the light of God. We are the love of God. We are the power of God. We are the presence of God.